If you're planning a trip to Japan, don't just stay in the urban city areas. Come on, live a little, don't be boring. Japan is filled with so much natural beauty, with lush forests and gorgeous mountains. I mean, even the most weep-centric of all of us have watched at least 1 or 2 Ghibli films, so you know what I'm talking about. There are parks, landmarks, places that you can go to at any time, everywhere. Honestly, it's kind of criminal if you're gonna actively avoid these places. And when talking about Japan, one of the most iconic places in all of the country is Mount Fuji, one of the most recognizable mountains all over the world, included in dozens of films. A place that people truly say is spectacular. So naturally, on my trip to Japan, I wasn't able to go to Mount Fuji. So I settled for second best, and that was Hakone, the place that's got the steepest mountains in the world. And I gotta tell you, it was really fun. Hi guys, I'm Bayfond, and I'm actually someone that doesn't really like to go outside too much. I know, shocking. But when I do, I need to make it memorable. From Tokyo to here, it's probably like a 30-minute ride on a bullet train. And there is quite a bit of stuff that you can do here. The planning of this portion of my trip to Hakone was inspired by a certain sports anime, one of the few that I actually enjoy. And that's Run with the Wind. This was their peak. This is the place that they had in their sights since the first episode. And I knew that I had to see it for myself. And I was familiar that there was also another series that took place in these mountains, and that was Initial D. Apparently the winding roads that lead up to the mountain were used for drifting, both in real life and in the series. So that's the context that led me to forming this trip. It wasn't something that was just spontaneous out of nowhere. I had some prior knowledge to this place. But I didn't really know all of the surrounding facts attached to this. Like for starters, Hakone is a pretty rural place. Once you get off the train at the station, you gotta take a bus up the mountain with a lot of stops and a lot of scenery. Taking the bus is probably the best way of getting a look at the entire landscape here. You get to see the large scale of the mountains and the valleys and how far they go. As someone that comes from one of the flattest places in the world, this was something really interesting to see. It also didn't really help out too much, showing me just how much colder it was gonna be closer to the top of the mountain than it was at the bottom. You know, common sense kind of things, but the wind just hits different up there. The bus can take you to any shrine that you fancy or can just drop you off anywhere. I chose the drop you off anywhere function. No, not really. I got off because there was a close Lawson's nearby. Got some snacks and I saw something really peculiar that caught my eye. There was Evangelion merch being sold here, and we weren't anywhere next to an Eva store. I found it a little strange, but I'll come back to this little fact later on. And when you get to Hakone, there's the obvious tourist attractions. There's that torii gate that's right next to the water, but if you want to go there, I implore you, go early or else you're gonna be waiting a fuck ton of a long time. And if you go during winter or early spring, you're probably not gonna be in for a fun time. First-hand experience here. But one of the lesser known tourist attractions is the goddamn pirate ship. Yes, you heard me right. Right on top of a mountain in one of its biggest fucking lakes, one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen, there is a pirate ship that you can ride to the other side. Does it make any sense? Absolutely not. Did I take the ride? Of course I did. And even though I froze my balls off, I didn't regret it. It's definitely not the fastest way of traveling this place. I mean, it's a big gimmick. But for the novelty of riding one, I think it's pretty worth it. And when you're on the boat and you go up deck, you're probably gonna get one of the clearest line of sights to Mount Fuji, right across from you. You know that place that you could have gone to, but you decided not to? Also, while taking a sneak peek at what's to come, which is a gondola, which leads you even further to the top of the mountain. I'm not someone that's particularly scared of heights, but just seeing that thing just sway around a little bit, it kind of gave me chills. Scary chills, not the good kind. But once you're actually in it and sat down, it's a lot nicer than what you expect. It does not move around nearly as bad. But there's something really interesting about this gondola station here, because there's a certain anime that really makes itself the mascot of this place, and you really start to learn why. Yeah, completely unbeknownst to me, this is where Evangelion took place. This is the location of Tokyo 3, everything. And it kind of makes sense. The lakes that were in Evangelion are the same exact looking ones that we've got here. A pleasant surprise isn't enough to scratch the surface of how fucking delighted I felt. And it goes to show you that no matter where you go in Japan, you're always gonna be next to some sort of anime thing. And out of all the anime that I named, Evangelion is the one that they put in the highest pedestal. They really do give it the highest respect here by putting in like environments that make you feel like you're actually a part of the series. They're really nice touches for anyone that's a fan of the series. But continuing along with the gondola trip, at the end of it, you reach the top of the mountain and you realize Hakone is just not an ordinary mountain. It's a goddamn volcano. An active volcano that has that sulfuric smell to it. A smell that I never really smelt in my entire life. And at first, was it disconcerting and uncomfortable? Yeah. but you get over it pretty quick. First time at a volcano was nice. You get to see pretty much the clearest line of sight from any angle to Mount Fuji, even more so than being on the boat. And while you're up here on the mountain, yeah, you can read the facts about the volcano, all the interesting stuff about what it does and how people are currently excavating it. But you can also do one more thing, and that's by eating an Okadani black egg. Something that, again, I had no fucking idea was here. It's a black egg. Why? But it was there and you could buy multiple of them. So of course I had to try one. And I got to inform you, it tastes like egg. Normal, ordinary egg. Nothing really special about it here. Though, according to the lore around it, it basically says that if you eat one of these eggs, you basically get your life expectancy brought up by 7 years. Even though I don't believe in most stuff like this, I'm just gonna believe it's true. But I'm pretty sure up here too, that's where all the spas are. So if you wanna stay a few nights just to be able to bathe in the volcanic water, hey, feel free to do so. I didn't really get to do all that stuff because I only had planned out one day to come out here. So this was as full as an experience as I could get. Going back down the mountain, I swear to God, I saw the school that Evangelion was based off of. It looked almost identical. That or I lost my mind at that point. And when we made our way back to the station, we realized that there was something really crucial that we missed at the station. And that was that they had an Evangelion store full front and center. I guess there were a lot of signs that were telling me don't be surprised by this, but hey, I guess I just don't listen. Bought this art book from the end of Evangelion, because you got to get a memento. And you know, good deal. And I'll say overall, I really enjoyed my time here in Hakone. Sure, there were a few hiccups here and there, predominantly in that I don't speak Japanese all too well, or rate it any better, for a matter of fact, which means taking bus routes and things like that is kind of a pain in the ass. Something that you would think all those translate apps would help you to do, but most of the time, they just end up being more of a burden. So you just kind of have to figure it out on your own. And if you're okay doing stuff like that, being unsure about which way to go, you're gonna have a blast here. Because I honestly think that that's my preferred mentality of traveling. But with this, if you're planning to go to Japan in the near future, I really recommend that you check out Hakone. It's a nice, quaint place. And to be honest, I just spoke about the mountain. There's a whole other region of this place, like a whole city based off of here. I just really didn't have the time to go and investigate further there. But there is a lot of stuff here. And I think anyone can appreciate the gorgeous landscape that's gonna be surrounding you there. Stick around if you want to see more videos about my trip to Japan, because I got more videos coming out soon. So as always, I was Bayfond, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.